a bunch of gamers got to go play the game in France, Brazil, and Japan, right? And so they can release their early impression of stuff. They can't show any gameplay footage. So Broski released his video. Who was in Paris? Broski. I figure we should watch it. Oh, the capybaras. Yeah, sure.
Together. So I struggle to absorb that much in.
Okay, now we're in. The one thing I'll say is I don't know how much versus game experience he has. The less experience he has, probably the better, because he'll give you like a Street Fighter player's breakdown. He played team small bodies in UMVC 3. So he is a versus game player. So he's not going to give you the breakdown you're looking for then. Maybe that's Brian F. He also loves Marvel 3, but he's
I'll explain
definitely a Street Fighter player playing versus games.
We made it so that just down heavy is your launcher. That
yeah, this was in the build that I played.
I like this change, but it does have lots of implications. They've got rid of down forward heavy as a button.
For a lot of characters, this was already a sweep. For some characters, the sweep was like down forward medium. But for other characters, down forward heavy like hold was already sweep.
It does have impacts on characters' combo routing. The combo structure has changed pretty significantly since the previous build, particularly if your character used down forward heavy as like a combo tool.
Now characters that have overheads, they're now on down forward and medium, and we're trying to consolidate.
Yeah, these are just quality of life changes, and they're basically just good.
This one was really annoying.
I have nothing negative to say about this. You don't want to have command normals on forward or back a lot of the time because it can screw with your movement. All of the changes that I experienced to the inputs are just improvements.
In Alpha Lab 1, used to be able to hold forward plus team or hold back plus team to get a charge assist or a running assist.
This is a change that I think is healthy for the game, but I also think that from what I played, it probably needs a little bit of fine-tuning.
My team didn't really use hold assist at all, so like I'm happy it's gone. There's other teams where hold assist is so broken. Yeah, they changed some of the assists to compensate, I think.
Some of those assists now feel like they've kind of lost their function because you can no longer hold them. I feel like there's still a little bit of room for polish on this feature.
I wonder which ones he means.
It's good. Combo length. My personal opinion in the last Alpha Lab was that combos, generally speaking, weren't too long. The only one that I had a problem with was Ari. Ari's stupid loop that went on for 45 minutes in the last build.
It was just that
That was the only one that I thought was too long. In this new build, I would say combos are now, on average, 75% the length they were in the previous build. And I don't know how I feel about this. Like I said, I don't think I felt that combos were too long personally, but I guess a lot of people thought they were, so I'll defer to the community on that one, but I didn't really have an issue with it.
I agree with him. I also thought the same thing. I don't know if this build is different. The more I played on the last build, my combos got pretty long pretty fast, actually. Yasuo, his combo moves were just like completely different. It was just like his old combo with one less rep, but then he had other moves that you'd never used in a combo before that were like way better combo moves now. I think with a lot of characters, that's probably the case. Their combo routing is just different than before, so people have to find new stuff, but it's still probably a little shorter. You could do... You know what? You'll see when the Alpha Lab comes out.
I didn't put too much time investigating the new fuses. That is not something that I did because what I wanted to do, my focus, I've only got a day to try this version. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to play the same characters. I didn't actually play Jinx.
That's probably
because I wanted to have like a comparison of like a before and after. I played Echo and Braum, which is the same team that I played in the last Alpha Lab.
Oh.
You've already done a reaction with the ground bounce. You get extra damage. If you do another
That's
wall
interesting.
bounce.
This whole segment's quite complicated, and I didn't understand this the first time round. Basically,
I'm curious about his understanding.
Knockdowns used to be very present in the previous version, and that meant that lots of characters had very obnoxious looping Oki. They've buffed the hell out of defense. Like, you have so much better defensive options in this version. Almost every hard knockdown from the previous version is gone. If
Defense
you get knocked down,
in
you can now
real.
do a forward roll on wake up. Echo can still set up stuff. He can do set play still. It's not completely dead, but it's way harder to do now. If you end combos in certain ways,
they're a lot like
you either get rewarded with a hard knockdown or extra meter. And I thought when I saw the video, oh, that's pretty cool. You've now got ways that you can customize how you end your combo, depending on if you want to prioritize like Oki or meter gain, stuff like that. I thought it was quite freeform, but it doesn't quite work this way. I feel like this system is kind of messy in my opinion. And Some characters benefit from it more than others. You have to first use either a ground bounce or a wall bounce. You then have to use
You just
a
do
move
the
that
reaction
inflicts
twice.
a wall slump, which is a different effect. And not every character has easy access to wall slumps. Also, the behavior mid-screen and in the corner is inconsistent. So if you do it mid-screen and you get the hard knockdown, there's like this canned animation of your character
Like
running
tumbling.
across the screen.
Yeah.
But if you do it in the corner, you don't get this like follow-up animation, and instead you get time to set up Oki. So not only does this system vary depending on how you
Like
end
where you
the
do it,
combo,
yeah.
but also where you are on the screen can completely shift it. I just felt it wasn't very intuitive.
I have no idea how hard knockdown works mid-screen in this build, but the roll on wake up to make regular Oki weaker is pretty easy to manipulate. So I wonder if it's even worth going for hard knockdowns mid-screen. Like, I wonder how good it even is. If someone rolls on wake up, you just wave dash into their roll. You 50-50 them off of it. They could roll through you forward or backwards, and then you can mix them up left, right, so they can't see what the hell's happening. So I wonder if hard knockdown is even better than that, because that's already pretty good, right?
All I'll say is this new mechanic that they've added for
Basically you just do the same
how you
reaction
end
twice. That's all it
combos,
is.
I'm not super fond of. I don't think it's like damaging to the game. I just don't think it really adds a whole lot. These rolls go surprisingly far. Like it's actually kind of difficult to get Oki now.
I think you just wave dash into them. I don't know if it's different, but if you're like a fast character and not Braum, you just like wave dash into the roll and you auto chase it. What he is explaining, the way the new knockdown system works is you can only get like one of each type of reaction in a combo. And a reaction is like a ground bounce, a wall bounce, a tumble. If you do a reaction twice, you do like a tumble and then another tumble, then it gives you a hard knockdown. If you do a ground bounce and then a ground bounce, it gives you like a meter bonus. That's it. Like you just can't do the same reaction twice. But yeah, if you wave dash into the roll, it's pretty easy to chase it.
Alpha Lab 1, that push block was just not available enough.
Yeah, this change I'm really
Cost one
curious
bar,
about.
so
I can't
cost
wait
was
to try
pretty
this
steep.
because
And
this is a
also,
defensive buff that's like pretty
that if you
important.
didn't, now it no
Yeah, there's
longer
still wake
costs
up
a bar
attack.
of super
Roll is
damage.
both directions.
Now it's performed by pressing the team button while you're blocking. And if you are the assist, then the assist is the one responsible for the push block.
I loved this change. The push block in the last build
It doesn't
was
cost a meter anymore,
extremely
which is
expensive.
really
It cost
good.
1 bar of super. And in exchange for that, you got a little bit of breathing room, and that was it. And it felt like a complete waste of resources.
Oh man, I think
They've
the opposite.
completely retooled it.
I thought the push block in the last build was like insanely powerful. It cost bar, but you had to do it. It was just so good. Like you would just push block, immediately do something plus assist, and then you can like tag or not. Like push block was so strong before, I thought. I actually think that this push block is probably weaker than the last push block, but it doesn't cost you meter now. You are push blocking and then you don't have your assist available. You have to tag instantly. If you want to tag, you don't like get to manipulate the situation in a more favorable way.
Previously, spamming assists in this game was too strong. Now there's actually a reason to hold off on spending your assist because
You want to push block?
you can now use it as a defensive resource as well as an offensive resource. I really think this was like one of those changes that's
You also
pretty
don't have much
elegant
offense
and
if you push
solves a
block,
lot
right?
of the problems with the pressure in this game. So yeah, I love this change.
Yeah, the
this
assist
I
before
think
was so
instantly upgraded the
powerful.
game for me.
Like Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite has a tag system like this, kind of. But the character doesn't do an assist. They just run onto the screen. In this game, it's an assist that used to be able to hold that you could instantly tag into and act from. By comparison, it's so unreal, you know?
I think one of my concerns is that they
Bone, I
may
think
have
so.
overbuffed defense. It's too early to say. I can't talk
They
about the
definitely
meta.
did give a
I
lot
don't know
of
how this will
defensive
all
buffs.
pan out, but all of these defensive buffs combined might be a little bit too much, but we'll see.
I don't know if it's different than when I played, but when someone's rolling on wake up, just wave dash into them and then do media light, and I think you'll be okay.
Some fighting games that I've played in the past where it's actually kind of frustrating that defense is so good.
Dragon
that
Ball.
There's no reason to not just do your max damage combo in every situation because of how bad
Yo,
Oki
fuck
is.
Dragon Ball.
I don't
bro.
know if that's going to happen to
I'll
this
say it.
game.
I like
That's
that
a
game.
possible
Fuck
concern.
that game.
I don't know. We'll see. They buffed Grey Life regeneration speed as well. While I was playing the new build, I was getting a lot of matches going to time over. A lot. Even when we were doing like good combos. It wasn't just like timeouts were happening because we just didn't know how to finish combos. There was still a lot of timeouts happening, so
Yeah, there's a couple of things. Like when you play a versus game and it's like a new versus game and you're not as experienced with it, it's very easy for timeouts to happen. You don't have the killing power. You don't have the Oki. You don't have the combos. You don't have the setups. What he's mentioning here is basically like even when people had good combos, the timeouts kept happening. I'm curious if the symptom here is like people didn't know the juice and then once you get the juice, everybody dies. Or if it's like, yeah, the game actually just has timeouts now because people just don't die because it's not a killing game anymore, you know, which I hope is not the case. It's hard to say right away.
Directions for a super jump.
Yeah,
because Oki's weaker now too, like you have to
aerial
find your
drift
Oki.
now, which I like because anything that makes movement more complicated, more complex is just a good thing.
Another game with super jump
It's
throws.
even the same as perfect parry from Street Fighter 6, right down to the fact that it only does the big zoom in and the slow-mo if you do it on a strike. I don't have strong feelings about this change. I kind of liked that parries were hard to use effectively.
I like super jump drift a lot. I've never heard people complain about
rewarding when you actually managed to land one. They felt more like third strike parries before because you had to immediately start your punish rather than having like a whole second and a half to admire the big cinematics like slowdown.
I think this is probably twofold. One is like getting a parry and reacting and doing stuff is cool. In a game this fast, if there's no slowdown, it's very easy to get lost and like you just lose your meter on the parry. The reason they made the change, they said, was not actually just to like make it look cool for spectators, but because people would parry and then cancel their parry into another parry and then lose the meter and then not get a punish. So I think this makes sense for that reason. But it does make parry a lot better
if it triggers the animation. Like you're never gonna miss that animation. So yeah, there's some stuff I like here, and there's also some stuff I don't like, especially. I need more time with it. But overall, I had fun. It was a fun weekend playing a new game with a bunch of people and just like chatting about our experience.
Tag fighters.
The devs are very like receptive
to
feedback.
I mean,
if there's stuff you like, Dragon Ball tell us, but also if there's stuff you don't like,
really
please
powerful.
tell us, you know. And I think it's important to get the negative feedback as well as the positive, because if we've learned anything from recent events from a certain 3D fighting game,
you got to tell them when it's bad.
Having an open dialogue about these things with the developers is very important.
Yeah, the way I described it is like there's two ways for roll to feel in the game, right? The first way is like Street Fighter Cross Tekken roll, where I'm Relento jumping on a pogo trying to chase left-right tech, and like if I chase it correctly, I still am not even getting that great of a mix-up. I'm just like landing on them and like, yay, I got a button to jump in with, right? And then the other one is like Marvel vs. Capcom, someone rolls and you go and you wave dash and chase them and then do instant overhead when they get up with Nova or something, right? Like that is roll in parentheses, you die, versus roll in parentheses, nothing bad happens to you ever, smile. And I want the roll to feel like a Marvel roll. If you roll in a way that like is obvious, then you can get smoked for it. Because you can wave dash in this game with one button without needing to know the direction, right? You're just hitting down plus dash. And you can do it really fast because of the dash macro. Chasing the roll is actually quite easy the time that I did it. So I'm not that worried about the roll. But the other defensive buffs are scary. I also am not a roll enjoyer generally. I'm not like happy it's here. But I sort of get that the wake up felt maybe a bit too canned before. Like it's like you do wake up attack or nothing. Now if you want to wake up attack, you can't roll and then wake up attack, by the way. So if you roll, you are committed to not waking up. There's some give and take there. It's very likely that hard knockdown into mix is still there, especially in the corner. My guess is that what most people will do, mid-screen, take regular knockdown, wave dash into their opponent. Corner, take hard knockdown, mix into kill. Yeah, I think I share his concerns about defense ending up too powerful, but it's one of those things where you kind of can't know until you have good offense. My only concern is if it feels like the game is like getting a knockdown, you don't get a hard knockdown, you chase the Oki, then they get a free push block that like lets them tag, and then now you have to hit them again, and then you get it not a hard knockdown again, and then you have to try to hit them, and then by then they have push block back. You know what I mean? Like that's the only fear, is like you're stuck in push block purgatory where you just never get to run mix. But if it doesn't feel that way, then I think it'll probably feel fine. Also, I'm like curious how easy it is to set up some of the hard knockdowns. As an example, like Braum has jump S2, the door, that's a slump. Can he just do door and then jump door again and then hard knock down and then like throw a Poro and then run in and like call assist, command grab, tag? Like, can you just do that and just get a hard knockdown easily, or what? The fear about defense being too strong is very valid. I really do not like when versus games are afraid to be versus games. You have to have teeth. If you're gonna make a versus game, you know what you signed up for, right? Dragon Ball, they were like, all right, we're gonna give you a frame one reflect and reactable throws and 900 different ways to tech off the ground, and then a burst that you can do during block stun or in combos, and then like it gives you health regen and tons of damage and extra actions, and like, you know, it's so hard to get into the game and like hit another human being and like make fun stuff happen. Even though I like Dragon Ball, because I love Dragon Ball, the IP. But man, they made it such a pain in the ass to like do stuff. Delayed up tech, down tech, auto combo, delay and variable timing on like 5 different tech options is outrageous. They made it like when you knocked your opponent down, you'd have to be like, all right, what kind of stupid shit are they going to do now? That's not a good way to feel when you hit someone in a game. You should be scheming, right? It shouldn't feel like the other person is scheming. If the defender is like, oh yeah, I got knocked down, now it's my turn to mix, then that's annoying.